All right. Assalamualaikum. Welcome everyone. I hope everyone is fit and healthy. Thank you for joining us for today's panel discussion brought by MAHSA University. My name Nur Faiza Abdul Razak and I'm lecturer at the Faculty of Health Sciences, MAHSA University. Today we are going to have discussion on health and safety returning to work during R-MCO. It's a recovery MCO. The roles of employer and employee with our expert panelists live on Facebook. We are indeed very honored to have our own panelists, Ms. Aiza Ahmad and Ms. Balati here with us today. So first of all, let me introduce our panel of experts today to tackle the question of the health and safety returning to work during RMCO, the roles of employer and employee. So first of all, we have Ms. Aiza Ahmad. Ms. Aiza Ahmad is Economist and Human Factor Engineering, HFE Specialist at IPS Sdn Berhad. Ms. Aiza was awarded with a Master degree in Human Factor Economics from Loughborough University, UK. She has more than 12 years of experience in safety and the field of economic and human factor engineering. She also a Petronas approved HFE specialist. She has worked in more than 60 greenfield and brownfield projects for the onshore and offshore facilities. Ms. Aiza Ahmad, thank you for joining us in the sharing session.
Right, thank you so much, Ms. Faiza and MAHSA University for inviting me. Hi, everyone.
Hi, thank you for joining us. All right, so the second one is Miss Sri Malati Ampalagan. So she's a HR manager at the automotive industry. Miss Sri Malati completed a Bachelor of Human Resource Management and went to her Master in Human Resource Management from UUM. She has more than 14 years of experiences in the human resource management in various industries. Right now, she is lead HR team at automotive plant in Selangor. So, Miss Malati, thank you for joining us in the sharing session.
Thank you, Puan Faiza.
Thank you. And we welcome everyone here to share your knowledge and views on the topic. So, just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any question, please leave your question in the live comment column below. I will bring them up and we will also have time for question at the end of our session. All right. So, we're moving towards some topics. The COVID-19 outbreak has a growing impact on Malaysia public health. We know the MCO strategy has been very effective, but it's not sustainable in the long run as it hurt the poor businesses and caused collateral damage to the other illnesses. As you plan to return to the office during RMCO, so many things you need to consider and prepare for it. It's not only preparing your mask, your hand sanitizer, and you have to prepare by learning about the physical distancing, hand washing, dealing with the contaminated surface, and to keep away from the crowds. But there is so much more to prepare for before we returning to the office. All right, for Miss Aiza, in fact, before RMCO lifted, many company promote the regular teleworking or home working across the organization. So it will help business keep operating while the employee is stay safe. We want to relate with working from home first. So what is
Right.
the key consideration of working from home from the HSE perspective? Is there any safety or security issue to working at home?
Right, thank you so much, Ms. Faiza, for the first question. Yes, definitely to answer the second question. There will definitely be safety and security issues. And to answer on your first question, the key considerations, yeah, that both employers and employee need to consider on, if I may discuss on one hand, the employer first, there would be, I would say, policy and guidance that the company need to consider to be made aware to the workforce, yeah, such as the work schedule and the KPI, what are the expected target of achievement that the workforce need to abide, need to achieve throughout the day. Yeah, and also I would say the company to need to make sure that the workforce know that they need to assign a specific work area for the workforce to work when at home, because this in a way we try to follow the SOP by the DOSH, our Malaysian JKKP, Jabatan Kuasa Kesihatan dan Keselamatan Pekerjaan, whereby anything that happen within the work area boundary will be covered under the employer's responsibility. So this must be clear between the workers and the employers. Yeah. So other than that, I would say the employer need to make sure and discuss with the workers about the equipment and the provision of furniture to work from home. This will be one of the key consideration because other than safety and health, of course, there are economic concern as well working from home. And we are lucky, early this month, our Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin did mention about the Pelan Jana Semula Ekonomi Negara, whereby tax relief amounted to RM 2,500 will be given to individuals that purchase equipment and ICT items to work from home. So this is something that the workers can take advantage of and need to be discussed between the company and workers. I know a few of my clients, multinational company in Malaysia, oil and gas, that give allowances to workers so that the workers doesn't have to request for this tax relief, but they can use the allowance from the company to buy equipment to work from home. Still talking about the employer, the employers need also to make sure that the workers know about how to set up the ergonomic workstation by giving support and guidance, perhaps by appointing external consultant, or perhaps the HR team themselves can help for the workers by issuing self-assessment checklist that the workers can use to make sure that the workstation setup is ergonomic. And I would say the management or the company must make sure that the workers also know about the policy, if to call in sick or time off, if they have personal matters that they need to address while working from home. Because we know working from home, we have family members that we need to take care of. Sometimes we have urgent personal matter that we need to attend to. So the workers, I would say, need to know what are the expectations from the employer. Is this allowed? Or do they need to mention or request for permission every time? And so on. Lastly, I would say digital support, from the management will help as well, because we know some of the workers, even myself, sometimes have problem with IT setup at home. So employers need to consider this and to give support throughout the duration of working from home. Okay, so on the other hand, Ms. Faiza talking about the workforce itself, the workers, what the workers can do. Coming back to setting up the boundary of having your own workstation, to work. This is very important so that all the work done there. Anything happen, you can always come back to the employer. You have to make sure that your work area is safe. You have make sure that electrically or fire hazard, you have reduced as well the slip, trip and falling hazard at the workspace. You don't want suddenly rushing, trying to finish up computer. When you receive call, rushing for it, you suddenly step on your kids' toys, or perhaps your dog's toys, that we create falling hazard and whatnot. So we want to address that. And I would say, as a worker, ourselves, we need to consider about cyber risks as well, working from home. We need to make sure that we keep updating our antivirus software in the laptop, as well as avoid using public Wi-Fi, because this is where the hackers can, enter your system. Correct, data breach, compromise your business emails and whatnot. So as a workers, we need to consider that. And coming back to the same point that I've discussed from the employer point of view on having an ergonomic setup, you need to, we as the workers need to keep communicating with the employer. If we don't know about the ergonomic setup, what we can do, what the employer can help you, perhaps taking picture of your workstation, share it with your HR. Is this okay? Is this setup okay and whatnot? Or do some researching so that you can work. You have a proper setup, because even small matters like lighting, while working, there's glaring on your computer, you will work in awkward, poor posture. This will cause health concern over time on your body. So I would say that would be the key consideration lah, that both employer and employee need to take care of when working from home.
Okay, Maiza. What are some tips for employee for staying healthy mentally and physically? It's because it's crucial for the home workers. So working from home, self-isolating, or even self-quarantining for their staying healthy. The tips.
All right, okay. This is something that I can relate on, because actually in KL I live alone. So let's tackle the first question first about working from home. I've mentioned earlier, and you will keep hearing repeatedly throughout this session, the importance of having ergonomic setup for your workstation. Yeah, it's very important because it will affect your physical health. Yeah, like I give example just now on the lighting, like for instance, if you're working on the laptop is actually meant to be used between 1 to 2 hours. But obviously, sometimes we forgot. Let's say you attend online meeting the whole day. The whole day you will be sitting, you will be like crouching towards your laptop because obviously the laptop monitor is lower. You're not moving your body, you're bending down. Perhaps not even until lunch break, you will suddenly experience pain and discomfort on your lower back. So that's why having ergonomic setup is very important because cumulatively, all the pain and discomfort can build up. And who knows, throughout the 3 months working, it can create pain on your body, whereby under the occupational health, it's called musculoskeletal disorder. So we want to minimize this, yeah. So other tips working from home would be to take frequent break. Perhaps every 30 minutes, take maybe 10 or 15 seconds, stand up, do some stretching, to release the stress on your body. Other than that, I would say set working time. Yeah, some people have to take care of their ailing parents, of their kids as well. So perhaps you can have an open discussion with your employer on your working time, whereby you might need to take break from time to time to cook for the family, perhaps, to attend to your children. So this is good for you as well because you can set a time whereby you need to focus on your work, try to do your work at that dedicated time, and at the same time you can also spend quality time with your family members. Yeah. Other than that, if you see online what people have been sharing, yeah, having proper attire will help as well. Actually, working from
Yes.
home, it motivates you. It gives you the
Yeah,
sense of
right.
normal, working from home, wearing professional attire. Some people don't like ironing, so perhaps you can wear something else that will still give you the mood to work, but at the same time doesn't have to trouble you with ironing. And last but not least, I would say a very good tip working from home is decorating your work area to give the sense of working environment. Perhaps a motivational poster, uh, a pen holder itself will give you a
Okay.
mood. Okay, this is my work area with a potted plant and whatnot. That would help. That would be my tip for working from home. And on your question about the tips for self isolating and self
Right.
quarantining to stay
Mm.
healthy, yeah, I believe three things. If you have achieved these three things, it will help you. First, your body. Second, your mind. Third, your heart. If you take care of all things, hopefully, inshallah, you can stay healthy, not only physically, but also mentally and emotionally. For your body, perhaps you need to work out. You need to sweat out. By sweating, you are detoxing your body. Yeah, by working out, you are increasing the serotonin level in your brain. Serotonin level give you a happy mood, a
Happy
good
mood.
mood. Yes, correct. So it's very important for your body. For the mind, perhaps read. Yeah, read can
Mm.
generate a better mind, give you new knowledge, increase your knowledge, learning new skill, adopt new hobby, or perhaps you can do free online courses offered by many prestige universities. A very interesting one that you can check out online is offered by Harvard universities. There are, I think, around 50 free courses that you can check out, and this will help you, yeah, to stimulate your brain throughout this pandemic. And last but not least, about heart. Yeah, I said earlier, right? Body, mind,
Mind.
and heart.
Right.
Correct. On heart, what you can do is perhaps you can do charity work, because when we do something to help people, it's actually giving you a sense of satisfaction, a sense of how to say happiness that you are helping other people. Perhaps in your neighborhood there are old couples that cannot go out to buy groceries, that you can help with, your friends, that you can cook and send food because she's too busy to cook with children to take care of and whatnot. Do this kind of thing. Yeah, interact with your family via online, virtual. I have the advantages over the Ramadan last time to recite Quran with a lot of my female friends online, so it's very good. Yeah,
Great.
social supporting. Yes,
Yes.
social support. Sorry, with each other, and perhaps you can learn more about your religion and other religion as well throughout this self quarantining at home. That will be my tips, Miss Faiza. Over to
All
you.
right. Really good tips from you, Miss Aiza. Thank you so much. And we proceed with the Miss Malati. All right, we have the SOP for all service now with the stringent health regulation in place. So, according to our health director, Dr. Noh Hisham, for instance, in order to avoid congestion and crowd at public transport station and in public vehicle, PM Muhyiddin has encouraged all employers to implement flexible working hours for employees. So, this will also help minimize contact between employees where possible. So, in your opinion, how to create a comprehensive return to work plan to keep your employees safe other than flexible working hours? Miss Malati?
Thank you, Faiza,
Thank
and
you.
good afternoon to everyone. As everyone know, HR has been the most busy department during the outbreak of COVID-19, and uh, they were updating policies and constantly support the other department to make all the key decisions. See, so the busy period doesn't just stay during MCO. We also continue busy right now during RMCO, where everyone return back to work. Of course, as you know, our PM has announced that most of the business can operate as usual, but we need to obey with all those SOP and guidelines that has been given. So, as a HR, you need to understand your employees' problems and concern before they return back to work. Is it? So, what you can do as an employer, of of course, you need to share a lot of information and communication that to your employees that it applies of new norms, which is what have the company has taken, like social distancing, what are the sanitary sanitization that we are doing, how frequent of sanitization that we're doing, what are the PPE has been given to them, such as face masks, gloves, and all those hand gels,
Mm-mm.
alcohol based hand gels. So when the employee have this confidence to come return back to work, that's where uh, we need to re-engineer our production needs, our capability, and the working hours.
Mm-mm.
So to take care of the well-being of the workers, we need to ensure everything has been in place, and then we need to manage all those changes. So now, how for us to create a comprehensive workplace? Of course, we are given a lot of opportunity, like there's a few way that we can do to allow the employees return back to work. Employees return back to work. Number one is flexible working hours, but this doesn't apply to everyone. We have to look back at the
Mm-mm.
job, the nature of the person. Number two, stagger work pattern. And number three, grouping. Of course, like the flexible working hours and grouping work pattern will be benefit for all those parents, like for those who have kids, schooling and kindergarten. So back, we need to look at the nature of job. For for example, for manufacturing line, when a manufacturing line has start production, we could not have grouping of flexible working hours because to complete a project you need a team to do. So assembling automotive, you need a group to do the job. See, so for this kind of group of people, we can't implement the flexible working hours. Probably we can go with stagger working plan or shift working plan, whereby for administrative workers, employees, you can
Mm.
go with um, flexible working hours and also the grouping work plans. Back to you, Faisal.
All right, thank you. So much we can do to comprehensive return to work plan. All right, for the second round, Miss Aiza, the health and safety of the workforce should be management top priority as it consider how to bring operation back to some semblance of normals. So this is of course a moral, ethical, and legal concern for all companies if the workplace has been closed for a period of reason related to COVID-19. So what is the logical consideration should employers consider when preparing for the physical return of its workforce that take account of the HSE?
All right. So when we're talking about from the safety and health perspective, yeah, what are the key considerations that the employer need to consider preparing having the physical return of the workforce?
Mm-mm.
First and foremost, of course, like the DG said and like Miss Malati mentioned earlier, is ensuring that the physical and social distancing can be implemented at the workplace. Yeah, this applies not only at the individual workstation, but at the common areas, especially at the common areas, yeah, like the meeting rooms, elevators, yeah, whereby the employer need to consider whether they need to schedule or limit how many workers, how many personnel are allowed to use the elevator. But then they also need to consider whether the queue will be long during the peak hours and whatnot. Yeah, this is in terms of a logistic arrangement coming into the office. Yeah, other than that, like Miss Malati said earlier on the work scheduling, whether the employers are having the workers in team A versus team B, or is it alternate working, or is it like 3 working days in a week for the workers to come to the office. This is something that the employer need to consider, yeah, having the workers coming back to the workplace, as well as of course having disinfection daily, whether the schedule of having the janitors or the cleaners cleaning the room will collide with the working schedule of the workers, whether this will disrupt the momentum of the workers working, or perhaps some discomfort there, yeah, whereby you're working, somebody coming in and doing the cleaning. I know a few companies that have been providing like a paper placemat for workers to come in, yeah, place their paper mat on the table, and then once done, by 5 p.m. just remove it to reduce the disinfection schedule. That will be one thing lah for the employers to consider. Other than that, of course, ventilation in the office. This is a very interesting topic, yeah, because we are dealing with a global pandemic, so to say, on virus. Some offices I know, especially in the UK and the US, they are improving the HVAC with filters that uses high energy ultraviolet light to kill the viruses and the bacteria. So this is something that us Malaysians we can consider for future improvement at the workplace. And of course, other than what I've mentioned earlier, is very important, I would say, for the employer to take care of at-risk workers, such as those workers having a chronic disease or needing moral support, yeah, not only on mental health, but also perhaps financial strain. We never know, with so many people being affected by the economic situation right now, perhaps having a spouse being laid off, the worker need to support the whole family and whatnot, will give like financial stress towards the worker. So support to workers is, I think, one of the key consideration that the employer need to take care of lah, other than continuing giving education and awareness to the workers on friendly reminding them about the pandemic, about what to do, the SOP that they need to follow. Yeah, no more sharing of the telekung and sejadah in the surau and whatnot. You know, all these small things that the workforce need to change their lifestyle and need to embrace the new normal, so to say. Miss Faiza, that will be my answer.
Okay, so it's all about our
Thank you.
thing. All right, Miss Malati. So I want to ask a little bit about the legal things. All right, what the employee right or the legal duties as an employer? Is it employer responsibility to ensure that people can safely get to work? Can we be liable if the employee contract regarding this pandemic at work?
Okay, for at work premise obviously is employer responsibility.
Mm,
So employer will ensure all those SOPs has been placed. For example, we can, as for example, employer definitely will have all those in-out flows or the yellow distancing, 1 meter social distancing, and they they definitely will put everything in place.
mm,
However, this doesn't only relies only on employer. Employees also play a vital role in this to
Yeah.
ensure that they are safe all the time. We will not know where these employees premises before working hours and after working hours. They can be going various places and contaminated with this kind of disease. So, as I know, as per my opinion, employer and employee play a main role in this to ensure that they do not contaminated in this disease and jointly can overcome this time period.
All right. So thank you, Miss Malati, for the your opinion. All right, Miss Aiza. Government
Yes.
already looked into every aspect of the current COVID-19 situation to make a decision with the advice of the Health Ministry to leave RMCO. So, how COVID-19 could impact workplace design? How to managing movement?
Right. This is actually a very interesting question, Ms. Faiza, because if you see the trend, I will be talking from office workplace perspective. Yeah, if you're looking into the trend since the past 10 years, 5 years, the size of the table has been reduced. People are working closely in a small workspace because people are using laptops rather than PC, and we are having open space office rather than cubicles or rooms for offices way back in the 80s or the 90s. And this is actually a challenge given the global pandemic situation. This trend will so on will be improved, whereby given the 1 meter or 2 meter social distancing requirement, the space for the desks will be made bigger, yeah, having a certain limitation for the workplace individually. We won't be having as much hot desking, I would say, with regards to the concern on the disinfection, the hygiene of the workstation that need to be shared by the workers. Yeah, one thing. And the other thing, in terms of arranging or managing movement, I would say choreographing movement is a very interesting, or is a very important matters, given that in the workplace design, we will see more and more visual cues becoming common in the workplace, highlighting to the workers and the visitors where to go, so that we can manage traffic and reduce contact or close distance between colleagues. Yeah, we would see bigger common areas like the reception, so that the workers and the visitors, when they first come into the office, they can register, they can do some temperature scanning and contact tracing and whatnot. We will expect bigger common space in the meeting rooms, in the pantry and whatnot. And of course, the use of technology, especially in the modern world now. Yeah, we will expect a lot of the offices will install beacon technology. It's a wireless technology that we alert the workers via the mobile application, yeah, mobile app. If the room, say for example, is a maximum number of people allowed in that particular room is 60, and you are the 61st person coming in, the beacon will alert you, okay, this the room is already crowded, you're not allowed to go in there, that kind of thing. Or perhaps if you're sitting too close to your friend, because coming back to the new normal, sometimes you forget about the global pandemic, right? And you're meeting your friends after sometimes, perhaps you get too close discussing things, the beacon technology will alert you. Yeah, it's very interesting. And I would say a lot of voice based or sensor based interface and technology will be installed in the office to reduce to promote contactless interaction in the office. Yeah. Other than that, we have seen how bigger companies like Microsoft, Google, Facebook, they have improved. They are working on they are taking on initiative to make sure that the interaction between workers working remotely, as well as workers working in the office, can be done smoothly without interrupting the work. Microsoft have currently finished with their design of the meeting hexagon in their office in Washington, whereby the workers working remotely as well as the workers at the workplace can do some discussion, can do meetings without, having the physical or geographical location as a limit for them to work effectively. So it's very interesting topic that I would say that would challenge architects and interior design as well as the management to make sure that the workplace is designed to address the concern on this issue.
All right. So I have one question regarding this at the our live comment.
All right.
I know whether the spraying tunnel is good and safe to be used by employers for their employees
All right. Okay.
with your for workplace design.
Right. Okay. There's not many how to say scientific finding yet that either prove or disapprove the use of this tunnel, even though of course the developer are saying this is good, this is in terms of logistics is very effectively time in terms of time, that we allow people to just go in and do some disinfection. So I would say to always come back, especially the management, the HR representative can always come back to the our JKP to make sure to whether the initiative is acceptable in terms of legal, because I'm sure Miss Malati will agree with me. Always anything any installation, new installation at the office will come back to the legal concern lah, that they need to be discussed with DOSH especially.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Aiza, for the opinion. All right, Ms. Malati. The current COVID-19 outbreak has provoked social stigma and discriminatory behavior against people of the certain ethnic background, as well as anyone perceived to have been in contact. So, in your opinion, what is the best way to addressing social stigma associated with the COVID-19 at workplace?
Okay, this question is very negatively filled. Sorry. However,
Mm,
I will answer based on my opinion. Okay. What is social stigma actually? It's actually a negatively phrase on a disease or a person. So
mm,
why social stigma actually what is the causing of social stigma? It is because COVID-19 is very new to us, you see. When it's new, it seems to be unknown, a lot of unknown. This unknown had
mm,
created fears among others. That's how the social stigma of COVID-19 occurs. So what are the impact that we can see, which is people will be uh, feel they've been discrimination, feel avoid discriminated. They will be avoid telling to people if they've got any symptom. They will not go and get proper health care. So it's not good to create. We need to know one thing. COVID-19, coronavirus doesn't see skin color, your ethnicity or country. So it get contaminated, then you get the disease. So how actually we can address and we can overcome this? This back to educating and also communicating to the employees. A lot of education or information about COVID-19 are required.
mm,
So how we can do? So manufacturing line, same that other big of manufacturing companies, they use their foreign workers. So not only have provide information based on English or Malay medium, the others various language also required so that
mm,
people understand what is COVID-19, how does it spread, and what are the preventive measures that we can take. Once they understand and they accept, they will be then they also can see uh, how we can overcome this disease. So we also play our main role. Like today, we are doing webinar. So what are the information that are giving today are very very important. So words that we've been using. So we don't talk about coronavirus negatively to people without any facts. So you facts, you have number to
mm,
to show that this is accurate. We talk about how much of recovery of cases, like Malaysia. I think we are doing one of the best medical that we have. So we have been a lot of cases has been we have overcome a lot of things and people are recovering. So we need to build a lot of give a lot of input or positive input to the people so that they can accept it. So as you can see, we are now fighting an unseen enemy.
Mm-mm.
So this how actually we can avoid social stigma among our people.
All right. So
Okay.
that is one question from the live comment. Is the situation like what happened if there is a colleague who happened to be positive for COVID-19? What the option for the employee?
Of course, first of all, of course, they have to go and get the necessary treatment, go and check.
Mm-mm.
So if you have you are positive and whatever SOP has been in place, which is 14 days of quarantine and whatever necessary medications or medical needed, they have to obey with it. And from an employer side, as I know, currently there is nothing right or wrong. So most of the employers nowadays, due to COVID-19, they are giving paid leave, they are compensating to the employees, and they are also help those employees who have this kind of disease.
Oh, okay, thank you. So thank you, panelists. So we will go ahead and take some time for question now for the live comment. Okay, reminder, please be sure to type your question into the comment below. All right. So it looks like we have a few question. One audience asked on the how company able to address flexible working hours to their workers that actually work. So perhaps Miss Malati on this because this is on the HR thing. So perhaps you can give some opinion on this.
Come again, Faisal?
Okay, how company able to address flexible working hours to their workers that actually work? We need to do like report daily or anything else to the address their actually work on the day.
Okay. This actually back to the nature of work for that
Mm.
particular position. So if that particular position that you can have flexible working hours and you can cope, that means you are not stick with uh, time base of working, I then I think they can come in and go back as long as they meet the required working hours. So whereas if like production line, as I told you before, like production line, they have to work in a team. So flexible working hours will not apply to them. However, for the other administrative tasks, the company can uh, give or provide flexible working hours to the workers with their agreement and on the job nature of the employee.
All right.
And it's back to both side
Both
agreement
side,
on.
yeah.
Yeah.
On the things. All right. So another question for Miss Aiza. So our working community ready to face the post RMCO their workplace and at home when they go back. So they actually how the company ensure the safety and health of worker because we don't know where they go. We don't know before they come into work. Anything like that, Miss Aiza.
All right, okay. Thank you for the question. I believe that's from Wayan Chia or Chia
Yes.
Wayan. I believe the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay. So basically, I believe currently the government of Malaysia is encouraging everyone to download the Sejahtera My Sejahtera app. Yeah, because this will sort of do contact tracing for you, whether at work or outside work. Because of course outside work nothing much that the employer can do. Outside work you are free to do what you want, but I believe with the current mindset and current understanding, like Miss Malati said, this is a novel situation that everyone been experiencing. Everyone is still being cautious at this moment, so having the My Sejahtera app will definitely help to ensure the safety and health of the workers. That will be one thing. Another thing, again, awareness and education, I believe, is very important. Once they understand the consequences and the so to say, safety and health effect of not abiding to what the MOH, our Ministry of Health and our government is promoting.
Right.
Definitely, I believe our workers and our citizens will try to, follow the SOP as much as we can. And I think, I believe from the statistic itself, the numbers of infected people and recovery rate by Malaysians is quite promising. So that's good news for all actually.
Hmm. All right. Thank you, Miss Aiza. So another question. For I think Miss Malati also can, Miss Aiza also can. What will be its impact of on those who come to their issue in the working place? So the issue means that maybe pregnancy woman, the older person like that to come to the workplace.
What
Miss
will be the
Aiza,
impact? Okay, yeah. What will be the
hmm.
impact for
Those
those
that
coming to
symptom,
the right? Those at
yeah,
risk workers, yeah.
yeah, at risk worker,
All right. I think I've mentioned earlier about having this open communication between workforce and the management. I
right?
know a lot of workers are actually afraid to come back to the office or to the workplace, especially those traveling using public transport and whatnot. So this is something that need to be openly discussed between the workers and the management, so that the management can see what they can support and what not, to make sure that especially those workers at risk concern on coming back to the office is addressed, or perhaps having the option of working from home can
Mm-mm.
address the concern. So again, this coming back to what Miss Malati and I said earlier, to always have a communication on ensuring that the concern not only from workers side, I believe from the employer side, yeah, if they given if the workers are given the option to work from home, what are the achievement or targets that both workers
Would
and
like you.
employers agreed. Yes, correct.
Yeah. All right.
Mm.
Thank you, Miss Aiza. So another question for Miss Malati before we wrap up. Okay. What can an employer do if the employee feel that it's still unsafe for them to return to work? Employee claim only feel safe if got spray internal, but the employer cannot doesn't think it's needed. So can employer be forced to come to work? From Nathan Raganathan. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
This is argument between employer and employees.
Okay, first of all, as I said earlier, it falls back to the nature of job. As an employer,
Yeah.
of course, they will see the need, the necessity of employees to return back to work. But if when the nature of job require you to come back to work, then you need to come back to work. For example, assembling a car, you can't assemble your car at home. See, so
Mm,
you need to
okay.
return back to the line. So if
Yeah.
back to the
Correct.
nature of job, if you have difficulty on returning back to work and you feel insecure, you can speak to your employer. And that's why the employer will share what are the countermeasure has been taken, what are the preventive measure has been taken, how frequent they are sanitizing. So when you share all this, you should have built some kind of trust.
Mm-mm.
What are the new norm has been in place. So when you have all this in place, of course, as an employer that doesn't want any employee contaminated to this disease, because if this have been uh, if a company got this kind of disease, definitely the whole business will be affected, which is 14 days of shutdown, sanitization, everything have to be in place. Employer will make sure everything in place. So
Mm-mm.
back to the employees, why are you not going to return back to work? So that question, if you feel unsafe, you speak it up. You talk to your employer, your boss or your manager. What make you can't come back to work? Another thing, this not you can imply flexible working hours, and another thing, grouping. So probably you don't need to go to work for the whole week. You certain tasks can be done at home, so you can work from home, and
Yeah.
probably a week one or twice you can go back to your office.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So it's all about the communication between employee and employers. So it's a deal between them. All right. It's look like we have covered all the question. Is there anything else from our panelists wanted to cover before we wrap up? From Miss Isa first.
Okay, my last words to employees, to the workers,
Yeah.
take care, like I said earlier, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Follow the advice from our government MOH, follow the SOP from your employers. Yeah, be in open communication. If you have any concern, like Miss Malati said earlier, please highlight to the employer. And to employer, my advice would be to accept the whatever the highlights highlighted by the workers, because given the novel situation, yeah, it is
Mm.
legit actually for the workers to highlight the concern. And hopefully this open communication, you can also continue between the employer and the force, such as DOSH, our DOSH, yeah, because together I believe we can face these challenging times. Miss
Right.
Malati,
Thank you.
over to you.
Now over to you, Miss Malati.
Okay. COVID-19 is very new to us. So there is no right or wrong. We are trying to do what is the best practice for all of us for our benefit. So
Mm-mm.
as an employee or employer, we need to learn and adapt to new norms and we need to bounce back as fast as we can. So although it's not comfortable or doing this, but we need to comfortable doing it because it is a necessity for us right now. So stay safe and stay hygiene all the time.
All right. Um. Okay, thanks again to everyone for joining us today. For your information, we will have upcoming webinar and outline courses in July. So please follow our FB to get more update. We also love to hear your feedback. Please fill in the survey form at the comment box below. You will receive the e-certificate as well. All right, let's stay self-disciplined and practicing social distancing and ensuring our self-hygiene to protect yourself and your family. We will see you next time. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Stay safe,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.